Okay, so let's take a look at how you can plot the pie chart in Python using Matplotlib, right? So first thing, we'll open command prompt or terminal and make sure to install Matplotlib. Okay, so once we have that, we are ready to go for plotting. Also, do note that you will have to install Jupyter-lab, right? Because we are doing this in notebook. Next thing, we will use Jupyter-lab to open our Jupyter server, right? You can also use Jupyter then space notebook to open classic interface, right? Now let's hit enter and let it open notebook in one of the browser window, right? So here you will see option for both console and notebook. We'll go with notebook for Python, and here what we'll do is we will start importing our matplotlib.pyplot as plt. Right now here I can think of labels for our pie chart. So labels equals to, right, now within this we add A, then B, then C, then D, and finally E, A, B, C, D, E. Now next thing is we will add the value, right? Also here let's see starting value from 0.1, 0.2, then 0.3, then 0.2 again, and then 0.1, right? So we have like labels and values. Next thing we can go for plotting all of this. So figure and axis, we should call this subplots, right? And here we will use ax.py function. This function will be taking few things like value, then labels equals to labels, right? And then normalize set to false, right? Now we will finally have to use plt.show, right? So if I select all of this and run this, it should draw one pie chart with our respective labels, right? Now I can also fix few things like add parameter like say counter clock, so the pie chart should change its direction to clockwise. So counter clock set to false. If I run this, let's see the change, and notice that it has now changed from A, B, C, D, E. Earlier it was different, right? So we managed to do the clockwise chart. We can also set the angle. So let's see, can add some parameter here, start angle set to 90, then comma again. Now let's select all, run this, and we have our starting angle. Now notice that counterclockwise continues to stay because we have set that, right? Also the angle goes from the top, right? Now there is also one more thing which is known as radius, right? So radius set to 0.5. so if I select all of this and run, it will reduce the size of my pie chart, right? If you want, you can also set one more parameter, right? So let's see, next line to radius can use explode set to explode, right? And if I run this as well, there seems to be an error which is explode is not defined. So let's see, Now here in place of explode, I have to mention specifically some values of explode. So let's say my explode set to within my array. All I have to do is I will have to give it something like 0.2, then 0, then 0, then 0, right? So that would be 4 and 5, right? Here I can just use my explode so that those values will be transferred here. So let's see if that works. And we got that explode value. So first value is exploded. You can change the radius to 0.8 to make it a bit bigger. Right now the explode looks proper here. Right, so value of a is removed. Right, there is also one more thing, which is adding the frame to plot. So let's see if I add frame set to true, and if I use this and run, it should add the frame to our pie plot. There is also one more thing, which is adding the percentage to our pie. We can do that. Simply we can use auto pct set to, let's say, within single quote, I can use percentage 1.1 f and then percent, right? Now if I run this, it should show us the percentage within our pie chart. Right, I can also set the distance, which is for labels. I can give it pct distance 1.1 comma, and if I run this particular para, that should show the percentage labels as well. They appear overlap as of now. Can experiment with that. So can use 1.8 or something. If we select this, now they'll go totally outside the part. So let's try and use 0.8 or something. Select all, run again. Now they look a bit fine for now, right? So we managed to do few things like with percentage. Now we can also set the group label. So we can use label distance. So label distance set to something like, say, 0.9 comma again, and run this, and again you will notice a bit of overlap. So let's go with something like 6. So if we run this, a bit cleaner now, right? Still the B is overlapped and D is overlapped. We can go with 0.4, right? So if I run this, that should suffice, right? So we managed to change the group label distance as well. The next thing, we can use rotate label, right? So can remove this label distance to use rotate labels set to true, right? So if I run this, it should show me this particular pie plot. I can also add color, but for that I will have to Google color palette, right? So if I run this, we have few colors. So like we need 4 of them, right? 5 of them. So currently we have this band on right now. I can also add this one. So let's go with this particular one in a new tab, and this one in new tab, right? So we have like these two. So I'm going to add the colors below the explode, and then I will add the square bracket, right? And here I can choose single quote to double quote, right? So 1 2 3 4, and then 5, right? So we have that. So first thing, let's try and get the most simple color, and you have to use the hash, right? So right, next thing we will use hash, then next value, right? So we will have it here, and then finally the most dark ones we will keep it for value of e, right? So we managed to add up the color, right? Now I can put that color within our colors options. So let's see, we have colors, set to colors, then comma. If I select all of this and run this, it should change the color. It is a bit more dark for our value of a, unfortunately, but you get the idea how to add that color palette, right? There is also one more thing, which is adding the border, right? So we will use wedge props, and here within, let's see, this curly bracket I can add line width and set to 1, then comma, I will have to use edge color, right? So make sure to close your line width with double quote as well, then after that within double quotes edge color, right? So edge color set to white, then finally we will be adding comma, and let's hope this works, otherwise we will have to find out. Okay, so here we managed to add the border color that separates our pie, right? So you get the idea how to create pie chart in Python using Matplotlib.